Obscure facts are coming. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 things you didn't know about Game of Thrones. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be digging through the annals of the Seven Kingdoms to give you 10 tasty facts you probably didn't know about George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. And if you're not already caught up on the latest season, there are some spoilers ahead. You've been warned.
There is only one war that matters. The Great War. And it is here.
Number 10, IKEA Rugs. Game of Thrones is not short of budget, and it very rarely skimps on the finer details. However, it has been known to creatively cut corners, specifically in the costume department and with the cloaks.
I made this for you. I made it like the one Father used to wear.
Yep, many of the luscious cloaks you see the likes of Jon Snow wearing are actually repurposed rugs from IKEA. Shaved and sliced to fit the bill, they certainly look the part. So if you fancy a bit of Night's Watch fashion, it may only cost you between 30 to 50 quid. Number 9, Roman Emperor Caligula.
How long do I have to look?
As long as it pleases me.
Joffrey Baratheon was the worst, right? But who inspired the evil? Game of Thrones constantly draws on history for its stories and characters, and there are multiple parallels that can be drawn between horrid King Joffrey and real past rulers.
Who threw that? I want the man who threw that. Find who did that and bring him to me. Hold on! Just kill them! Kill them all!
How about young Roman Emperor Caligula? He was known for being ruthless, sadistic, and self-infatuated. His family was filled with incestuous rumors, he was assassinated for being reckless, and, drumroll please, he supposedly looked just like Joffrey actor Jack Gleeson. What?
Caligula hated it. Must have seemed as if he was being called Emperor Didums or something.
Number 8, a pricey death.
The many-faced god stole a few more from me. I'm glad he left me you.
Beheaded, poisoned, burnt alive by dragons, blown up by wildfire. There are many ways to die in Game of Thrones, but which death was the most expensive to film? Well, that honour goes to the death of Sir Meryn Trant in Season 5. After Arya tracks him down, she massacres his eyes, face and body, and then she slits his throat. A gloriously graphic kill, it was meticulously shot and apparently cost a pretty penny.
You're no one. You're nothing.
Number 7, the Turkish Military.
Things I do for love.
We all know how controversial Game of Thrones can be, from its graphic sex scenes to its gruesome murders, but the Turkish military found Game of Thrones so explicit and potentially damaging to its military school students, it banned the show and any other show of a similar adult nature when it updated its rulebook.
Yeah. Pork sausage.
The new regulations were put in place to protect its students from sexual exploitation, pornography, exhibitionism, abuse, harassment, and all negative behaviours. Perhaps they have a point, but fans of the show must have been disappointed. Number 6, Recast and Repurposed. You've probably heard loads of stories about actors who were supposed to play other characters, such as Ewan Rowan auditioning for the role of Jon Snow.
The same thing is coming for all of us. A general you can't negotiate with.
More surprisingly, however, the cast has shifted throughout the series before your eyes. There's Ed Skrein and Michael Huisman, who both played Dario Naharis, and Callum Worry and Dean Charles Chapman, who starred as Tommen Baratheon. And Chapman also played Martin Lannister.
You're a Lannister, aren't you?
Martin Lannister.
Then there's Marcella Baratheon, who was played by 2 different actors, and the Mountain, who was played by 3 separate performers. Crazy. Number 5, you can study Game of Thrones at Harvard.
What class did you say that was? History. Yeah. Just history?
Yep, it's just like it sounds. The Ivy League course entitled The Real Game of Thrones, From Modern Myths to Medieval Models, is headed up by Harvard professors and gives students the opportunity to study the differences and similarities between the world of Game of Thrones and the medieval world of Eurasia.
We will lay siege to the capital surrounding the city on all sides. Cersei will have the Iron Throne, but no food for her army or the people.
Capitalizing on the captivating nature of the series, professors use the show to delve into familiar themes and archetypes, such as betrayal, war, and treachery. We could all ace this course, right?
Frankly, I found the class, rather elementary.
Elementary. I don't doubt that it was.
Number 4, episodes where nobody dies. Characters drop like flies in Game of Thrones, and it feels like there's a major death every episode. In fact, there are only 5 episodes in the first 7 seasons where no one dies on screen. Hard to believe, isn't it? That's 5 out of 67 installments, which equates to an overall on-screen guaranteed survival rate of around 7%. Gotta love those odds.
You! Those are your last words. You. Come on, you can do better. You're shit at dying, you know that.
Number 3, there's a Game of Thrones rap album. Straight out Compton, more like fresh out of Winterfell. In 2014, HBO released Catch the Throne, a free hip-hop mixtape on SoundCloud featuring appropriately named tracks by renowned artists. There's Mother of Dragons by Big Boy, Kingslayer by Wale, and The Ladder by Common. Volume 2 was launched in 2015 with new metal tracks from Anthrax and Mastodon. And of course, there's the gangster classic Lannister's Anthem by Snoop Dogg. It's GOT by the D.O.G.G. Oh god, sorry.
The lion in the rose, breakers of the chains, sword of the Lord, war of 5 kings.
Number 2, Ramsay Bolton's Too Gruesome Death.
Our time together is about to come to an end.
There are some pretty horrific deaths in Game of Thrones, but Ramsay Bolton's final moments were relatively subdued. Just as starved dogs begin to eat Ramsay's face, the camera cuts away. But that wasn't always the plan. In fact, the crew cut together a complete CGI sequence that showed skin being ripped and his jawbone being exposed. However, the creators deemed it too graphic, which is really saying something on this show. Number 1, the Monty Python joke. Some Thrones Easter eggs and cameos can be easily spotted on second viewing, but this Monty Python reference is incredibly easy to miss.
He claims you are no woman at all, but a man who hides his cock in his own arsehole.
In Season 4, Episode 3, a Marine warrior insults Daenerys in the Low Valyrian tongue, and according to the show's linguist Dave Peterson, it accurately translates to the French guy's insult from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberry.
Classic lines include English pig dogs, go and boil your bottoms, and I blow my nose at you. Brilliant.
Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.